Okay, thanks for being here at the Way of Mastery tonight. And I just got 3 words that this book starts out with tonight on page 50 of the Way of Mastery, which you don't have to believe, you don't have to accept, you don't have to welcome. Some of it's going to be hard to believe, and I'm glad. I'm glad that I'm talking about something that's different from what we hear every day. And some of it's going to be quite startling. So the first 3 words, it starts out with sex. And money.
Oh, yeah.
Sex and money. Page 50. Sex and money.
Love it.
Pretty basic things. Pretty basic things. Are they not? Okay, sex and money represent energies that flow from the mind of God. Sex and money represent energies that flow from the mind of love. Sex and money are energies that flow from the mind of God. And it wants to express an unlimited joy. And the energy of sex and money working through the mind of God wants to express itself through unlimited power. And the energies that flow through the mind of God are not willing to settle for limitation of any kind. So as you begin to recognize your power and get in touch with the mind of God, you will not be willing to settle for limitation of any kind. So if you find yourself more impatient with limitations and irritations, it means you're finally beginning to let the energies of the mind of God flow through you. If you're patient with a crappy life, it's not happening. But if you're impatient with and irritated with not having peace, not having joy, not feeling your unlimited power, you're beginning to finally awaken the power of God in you, man. So when the earth was since when the earth was birthed from God's holy mind and took on its own form and became an entity just like you, God didn't say, well, this is a pretty beautiful planet, but I can only have a solar system just large enough for the earth. Rather, out of joy, God allowed there to come forth solar system upon solar system upon solar system. This isn't the only solar system. It's like millions of solar systems. It was funny. They had a picture that I saw online a couple of weeks ago of a picture that the Hubble had taken of a fraction of our galaxy. It was a fraction of our galaxy, and there are millions and millions of galaxies, and it was 100 million stars.
Wow.
That just gives you some idea how big this joker is. Okay, that was a fraction of our galaxy was 100 million stars, and there are millions and millions of galaxies. And most people don't realize that every time they look out into the sky, they're just looking at the past. Because in most cases, the light that you're looking at has taken millions and millions of light years to get to you. So you're always looking at the way something was way back in the past.
Wow.
So every time you look up in the sky, you're looking at where that star was millions of years ago, not now. And then the Course in Miracles teaches that, so you only see the past. That everything you see is the past. So if you're looking at the stars and you're looking at the past, then when we're looking at each other, we're looking at the past too. Because we're still looking at something that took some time to reach us. So we are even looking at each other only through the eyes of the past. Then it goes on to say, well, what's the point of all this? It says, well, there are birthing of 1,000 suns every moment as a field in which this beautiful jewel of a planet could spin. That is true creation. What quality of solar system have you decided to allow? What quality of solar system are you allowing for you? And in which the planet of your own awareness can spin and live and express. Desire is everything. 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 Everything is desire. Everything is desire. Why are you here tonight? Because of your, why are you wearing the clothes you are wearing? Because of your, everything in your life is because of your desire. All of it. Every inch of it, every ounce of it, every bit of everything that's happening to you is coming to you from your own desire. So either that's not true in some cases, or I have a lot of desires I'm not aware of. Because it looks like sometimes there are things that happen to me that I didn't desire. Or that I don't desire. Okay, so desire is everything. So there's a simple exercise we have given you that will begin to free the blocks within, and you will rediscover the innocence of your desire. Then you can begin to expand upon your desire. Then you can begin to take a few moments to learn to live deliberately, asking yourself, what do I truly want? What do I truly want? So a deliberate life is a life where a person every moment is asking themselves, what do I truly want? So you live in a deliberate life when you start to ask yourself all the time, what do I truly want? So how do you do that? Well, you use your consciousness to relax into the innocence of the question. So what does that mean? Ask yourself, what do I truly want? What is it in my heart that keeps calling to me, keeps compelling me? What do I truly want? What is it in my heart that keeps calling to me, keeps compelling me? What is it that you truly want? What do 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 you truly want? What is it in your heart that keeps calling to you? What's in your heart that keeps calling to you? What's in your heart that keeps compelling you? Some people it's the awakening of their spirit and their awareness of their true self, and some people it's the Xbox. What do you truly want? What's compelling you? What's calling to you? Because your mind shines forth like a sunbeam to the sun. From the mind of God, when you ask the question, pictures will begin to arise. Some of you probably had some pictures come up. Feelings will begin to arise when I ask you, what do you truly want? And I say unto you, they're just symbols and expressions of what God wants to bring forth through you. Ooh. Oh, I said it again. Whatever I answer when I say, what do I truly want? What's in my heart? What's calling me? What's compelling me? That feeling is coming from the expression of what God wants to bring forth through you. So you may say, every time I look at my heart, every time I allow myself to feel what's in my heart, what I really want is to put my arms around people. I want to let people know how much I love them. That's what I really want. I want to put my arms around people, and I want people to know that I truly love them. Why should you be afraid of such a desire? Do you say, that's too overwhelming? I don't know how I'll be accepted if I try to give everybody love and I want to be hugged and I want to touch everybody. I don't know how they're going to react to that, whether or not they're going to accept that. The way of mastery said, who cares how you will be accepted? Like we would say in the street, who gives a damn? Who cares how you will be accepted? What matters is how you accept you. Who cares how somebody else accepts you? What matters is how you are accepting you. It doesn't make any difference how other people are accepting you. We are on page 50. 51. So it says, what if by feeling the desire, new pictures begin to come to you? For example, suddenly you realize, I want to be around people, I want to give them love. He says, what if you realize what you want to do is join the Peace Corps? Perhaps that very decision could be like putting yourself in a solar system where you can spin as your own planet. It's time to put yourself in a solar system where you can spin as your own planet. What if going and being in the Peace Corps could be the very pathway through which you learn to receive the great joy of letting your love go out into the world? But if you fear desire, how can you ever know these things? How can you ever know any of the joy that you say you want in your life if you're afraid of the things you desire? As long as you're afraid of the things you desire, you'll never know what you're capable of experiencing. So what comes up for you by asking that question? It might be, I want to have so much wealth. That's what I truly want. I just want so much wealth. I want so much wealth. And I see the thought that says, oh, no. If I'm spiritual, wealth is bad. If I'm spiritual, I'm not supposed to want too much wealth, material wealth especially. But if you allow yourself to continue to ask the question, a deeper answer will emerge. Like if you keep on saying, what is it? What is it? What's my block? What's my block? What do I fear about having wealth? What do I fear about having wealth? If you do that enough, an answer will emerge, such as, the reason why I want to be wealthy, why do I want to be wealthy? Well, the reason I really want to be wealthy is to be able to go to all the hungry children on the planet and feed them. That's why I want to be wealthy, so that I can help feed the homeless, and people who are hungry. If you go deeper, you might find out your real reason for wanting to be wealthy. Could it not be that the desire to feed the world is God's desire to speak through you? To use you in a way that affects transformation upon your planet? You know, maybe you want that wealth because God desires for you to have that wealth for a specific purpose in this world for you to fulfill. Damn, I thought it was to get a house in Beverly Hills. That's what I thought it was all about. And if that's what it's about, I'm still innocent. So could you see that by blocking the feeling of desire, when you block the feeling of desire, you might just be blocking yourself from hearing what you keep praying for over and over. Maybe when you block the feeling of desire, what you're doing is blocking yourself from hearing what you keep praying for over and over. You pray, Creator, Father, reveal my purpose to me, and then you feel some kind of desire, and then you go, oops, excuse me, I have to get rid of this desire first. In other words, the desire that you're having might be the ultimate divine desire, but you think something's wrong with it, and so you think you got to get rid of the desire to get your true desire, and your true desire might be the thing you're trying to get rid of because you've been taught that it's not okay to have that desire. So desire in the heart is where you will discover the phone line that links you to the will of God that wants to be expressed to you. Your desire is the link to the will of God that allows you to have your happiness expressed. So if you don't trust desire, you're literally deciding that you decided not to trust your Creator. That's what it says. If you don't trust your desire, you're literally saying that you have decided not to trust your Creator. And that's the statement, not just to be brushed aside. I'll say it again. If you're not trusting your desires, you may not be trusting your divine guidance. See, it's obvious to me that we have a lot of judgment about desire. That's what I love about saying this kind of stuff, because you can tell by our reactions exactly what's really going on. If I'm being told that all of my desires could be the way for me to have everything that I've ever wanted in my life, and it could be God's will, and it could benefit me in ways beyond my wildest dreams, then that would be very, very, very exciting to me to even think about doing that or being able to do that, unless I think I have desires that couldn't possibly be God's will. Oh, certainly, you know, certainly my desire to be wealthy, you know, that could be God's will. If I say I want a lot of money, that can't be God's will. If I say I want a lot of sex, that can't be God's will. If I say I want to be the president of a company, that can't be. Every desire I say must be, I'm here to ultimately love everybody and to know everybody as myself. And maybe the way that you're going to love everybody and love everybody through yourself is through what happens through your desire here, because you are here. Who knows? Right? Then it says, that is a statement not just to be brushed aside. In healing the conflict around desire, now that you know what it truly is, learn to be patient with yourself. So we're going to do an exercise in trusting desire. We're going to go beyond just talking and reading, and we're going to actually go through an exercise that is telling us right now. Okay? But before I go into the exercise, any questions or any comments about what the Way of Mastery has said so far? You know, and again, I would invite you to not always try to listen in terms of what you can disagree with. I would invite you not to always listen in terms of what you can find flaws in. I just would invite that. Just every now and then, just try it. Try to not find a flaw in it. To being told that your desires could be the will of God, allow you to have what you've always wanted in your heart and benefit everybody else around you, because you are powerful and you deserve to be spinning in your own solar system of good stuff. Don't find a problem with that statement. Please, if at all possible. You know, because usually the user who finds the most flaws in something is always the person that's most unhappy. Check it out sometimes. It's always the person who doesn't have something that is the one that's always fighting with the idea about how you can have it. Why? Because they don't really want it. Their desire is not to be wealthy, is not to be happy, is not to be connected, and is not to be loved. That's their desire. And if they do any of this, they'll receive love. So people who don't want to be happy will always fight with ideas that would make them happy, or people who would make them happy, or situations that would make them happy. Always. Now, my brother, what do you want to say?
Are there any desires that are sinful?
No. Not according to this.
Well, so you can go rob a bank?
You can go rob a bank and it's not sinful,
No?
but it would be a big mistake.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
sin, there's
What
no
about-
such thing as sin. There is no such thing as sin. There is no such thing as sin. I gotta say it because I don't go to classes that they say that often. There is no such thing as sin. 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 There's nothing you can do that God cannot correct. You can't make a mistake that cannot be corrected. You cannot violate the laws of reality. You cannot sin. You are not that powerful. You are not that unloved that you could do something that you could be condemned for forever. That comes from people who are afraid and feel guilty. They create a God that punishes. People who feel guilty and don't love themselves create a God that punishes. There's no such God. It doesn't exist at all. At all. There is no punishing God. Period. There is no sin. And if you rob a bank, you're still not sinful, but you're still going to have to deal with the consequences of what you did.
So then wouldn't that
Now, I
be-
want to make sure I answered her question. Because she mentioned if you
Well,
rob a bank,
you know,
isn't that sinful?
Okay, so let's go back to, people who do torture other people or...
Okay, think of some good stuff that comes out of desire. Try
Oh,
to take your
no,
try
it
to take
mentions
your
there's
man.
no
I know.
sin.
I'm saying to
That's
you,
the same
I'm
thing.
saying to you that's your belief, and you can keep it. If
So
you
you-
want to keep the belief that that's a sin, that's okay. But there's another way you can look at it.
No,
That's a
but-
mistake. Torturing people, hurting people is a mistake. It comes out of ignorance. It comes out of fear. It comes out of
Right,
not knowing the
right.
truth. So that's all
it's
you're
not a
seeing.
sin.
That's all you're seeing. That's not a sin. That's not a sin. Now you can choose to see it as you can choose to see, those of you in the room, hear me. If you want to believe in sin, go for it.
Sort of
I don't know what it is, and I don't know if it's the course or what, but words are not making a lot of sense to me lately. So sin, I'm sitting here going, so what is sin?
That's my whole point. That's my whole
Yeah.
point. That is my whole point.
Yeah.
That is my whole point. You got to give it a meaning. You got to make it up.
We made
You
it
got to
up.
make it mean something.
Well, we can
So
make it-
those, hold on a second. So those who want to believe in, remember the premise of the course. Everything is neutral. Everything is neutral. And then we turn around and we give meaning to it. And then we react to the meanings that we give it. So if you want to believe in sin, then you'll make up what you think sin is, and then you will feel bad every time you do it. Because you're the one that created the idea of sin. Then a lot of other people agreed. And then the more people agreed, it ultimately became a belief, a culture, a whole religion. It's just a group of people all believing the same thing, y'all. That's all we seeing anywhere in the world. It's just a bunch of people deciding on something, saying that's the way it is. And then crucifying everybody else who don't agree with them. That's all that's happening in the world of illusion. Just a bunch of meanings that everybody's giving everything and then crucifying each other based on that. In this book, and all of these books are saying that's not the truth. You're not sinful. You're not bad. Yes, you make mistakes. Yes, you make errors because of some of the things that you've been taught. It's a mistake to attack your brother. It's a mistake to hurt people. It's a mistake, and it needs to be corrected. But it won't be corrected by guilt and punishment and attack, because that's the thing you're already mad about them doing. So if you turn around and do the exact same thing they doing, it don't make you different. You know what I'm saying? If I murder somebody and you murder me, you're a murderer too. We both did the same thing. We murdered. But the world said, your murdering me is a good thing, but my murdering you was a bad thing. And the Course is saying, you got to get rid of the whole idea of murder. And you get rid of the idea of murder through love. And that love is the only thing that's going to get us out of the fear that we see in the world. But it's going to be happening through us in the beginning, making it okay to have desires, getting in touch with what is it I really want, what's really valuable to me, what's compelling me, what is my heart into, how do I want to express myself in the world, and then being innocent about that desire and asking yourself, how can I use that desire? What would be the highest purpose of this desire? That's how we move into the world of light and love. We don't move into the world of light and love by defending the world of pain and fear. We move into the world of light and love by learning the rules of the world of light and love. So we're coming together to learn the rules of happiness, not defend the rules of fear. Mm-hmm. I'm not interested in spending 90 minutes defending the world in the way it does. I want to hear what it's saying to me that would allow me to have the kind of life I've always wanted in my heart and everybody else around me. To me, that's a waste of 90 minutes. If we're going to spend 90 minutes not hearing what they're saying to have what we want. Am I crazy in saying this to y'all? No. That makes perfect sense to me. You know, I want to know, how do I get out of hell?
Amen.
You know, how do I get out of fear? How do I get out of lack? How do I get out of anger? How do I get out of depression? How do I never have another relationship that hurts me and I hurt myself through? Tell me that. I don't want to spend the whole time dealing with what you did to me that I never forgive you for. I want to be on the level of consciousness that it never happens to me again. That's what I want to work on. You know? That's what time it is for us. Is to recognize that we're innocent. We learn insane stuff. And no wonder the younger people rebel, because they seeing that we're not happy about nothing we're trying to tell them to do. You know, we're always telling young people what to do, but are you an example of the joy that you're talking about? Are you an example of the happiness and the abundance and the peace that you're trying to convince them to do that you swore you weren't going to do when you had children? You know, you swore you weren't going to do the same, turn and give them the same bill of goods. So, do you tell your children your desire is innocent? Do you tell your children they're innocent? Do you tell them they're creating their reality through their beliefs? Do you tell them that the attack that they give out is what they're going to receive? Are we telling them the truth? Or are we just perpetuating the same old BS that we were taught, which is basically one thing: you are a victim of the world you see. Somebody's doing something to you, and you're trying to defend yourself all day long against the unknowns that could happen to you in fear. So the Course says we get up in the morning with the attitude like, we got to defend ourselves against this unknown stuff that's going to happen to me today. So we walk out expecting attack, and because we're in a defensive posture, and then he says that creates attack. Because defending yourself creates you being attacked, because you're saying there's something that's out to get you. And if you believe that there's something out to get you, you will create an experience where it looks like something got you. And then you get a chance to be justified. You get a chance to say, well, you see, that proved it. You can't trust people out here because they will hurt you. No, you believe that people would hurt you, and so you drew someone that did. That's the way it works. You know, it's deep. It's deep. This is the kind of stuff these books are saying that just fascinates me, whether I believe it or not. It's still great to hear something other than the same old crap I've been telling myself through the world. Don't you feel that way? Yes. I mean, even if you don't agree with 90% of these books says, it beats what we hear all the time. I'm entertained by the thoughts, even if I think they're crazy. Rather than hearing this stuff I hear people talk about all the time, sometimes I just want to go, pew. And then I go, okay, you got the wrong perception of that conversation, because you want to commit suicide, so you know you got another way you need to look at it. You know what I mean? I want fire in my life. I want fire in the people in my life. I want to see some enthusiasm about the people. That's my preference. You don't have to be that way, but it would be exciting to be around each other and be that way.
Yeah.
We deserve it.
Yes.
We deserve it. We deserve it. So I make the decision. I'm not answering any more debate questions at all. Nobody's asked one so far, so I don't think I'm talking about anybody that said anything. But I will not do it. I will not spend another day talking about stuff that's not going to help me. Just because somebody won't talk about it. I ain't doing it. I want the solution.
Yeah.
And I want to hear the solution, and I want to live the solution. I don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. I don't. I'm not. Yes.
I actually had a comment and a question.
Okay.
So my comment was, when you were saying about, like, we defend ourselves, but then we're attacked.
Yes.
There's actually, like, a lesson in that in the course. And there's a beautiful line in there, and I'm totally paraphrasing it, but it says something to the effect of, like, what would you not do, or how would you be if you knew that every step that is planned for you is planned by loving God, gently by loving God, but your defenses will not let you see that.
That's right. That's exactly what I'm saying.
And so it's like just you were saying that, just like brought that up.
Yeah, like it's another line. He says, you know, how could you be afraid if you really knew who was walking with you?
Yeah.
You know, if you really knew that God was walking with you, whatever word you want to use, God, how power, universe, whatever, just pick your pick. Yeah. Whatever you want to say that represents, some people can't say the word God. That's your issue, not mine. You know what I'm saying? And you got to realize that for about everybody, it ain't your issue. Their issue is not your issue. You don't have to not express yourself how you want to express yourself because someone else don't want you to express that way. We won't be free until we choose. He said, unless you realize you can think whatever you want to think, that you are actually making your thought impotent. You're taking away all the power of your thought when you don't think what you want to think. And you'll find most people aren't thinking what they want to think. They're thinking what they were programmed to think. And that's why they don't have any power. They say they're giving you their opinion, but they're really giving you the opinion of their minister, their priest, their teacher, their mother, and their fathers. They're not giving you their opinions. They're giving you the opinion that the TV said. But they think it's their opinion. You know, and when you begin to get free enough to realize that you're living in a world of ideas and all you're doing is expressing those ideas and living those ideas, you will make sure that you start to focus on ideas that free you, because you know that your freedom comes from your thought and not from your physical circumstance, which is deep. And that you have all the help you could possibly want. That there's so many invisible teachers and invisible forces that are on our side, it will blow us away. We are not alone. And what was the other one, man?
So then my question was, because back then when you were talking about desire and you were saying that like you were talking about like the house in Beverly Hills, but like I don't know, the way I understand it is that like if I'm not attached to the house in Beverly Hills and my underlying root is to be loving and to receive wealth through love, I can have that too, as long as I'm not attached to like the house in Beverly Hills.
You can have anything you desire. That's what we just heard. You can have anything. The Course in Miracles says it beautifully. If you ask for something that's not real, you're still going to experience it. The only difference is when you ask for something that's not real, it's not going to last. Because love will not allow anything to be eternal that's not loving. So you can create so he says you can create what's real, you can imagine what's real, and you can experience that, and it's going to give you total joy that lasts forever. Or you could imagine something that's not real. And he says, now if you do that, you'll still go through the experience of it, except it'll be temporary and it won't last. That's the only difference. So anything you desire, you can experience. The only difference is if it's real, you can experience it forever. If it's not, it's going to be temporary. That's it. So if I believe people hate me and I desire for people to attack me, or I desire to be in a world of attack, or I desire to be in a world of fear, I'm going to be in one. I just won't be in it forever. And we call it death. So you're not going to be here forever. Right? You already know that. Why not? Because it's not real. How do you know it's not real? It has fear in it. Broken into by periods in which it seems to be gone. These truth books said deep stuff, man, that blows us right out of the water. You know, how do I know that your love is real? It expanded, but it didn't end. You know, what can change was never love. 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 I'm like, what? Yeah, what can change? Like, the person that said they love you, but they don't love you no more, never loved you in the first place, period. It wasn't love to begin with. And so, okay, that wiped out 90% of the relationships I've ever had. So now I can go ahead and start moving toward what's real. Now I can go, oh, wow, I can't be mad at them. They really wasn't real in the first place. So I can go ahead and forgive them because neither one of us was giving each other the real deal. And then, poof, forgiveness. See, that's too easy. That's just too easy, you know.
Yeah. So as another way of saying our higher self guidance is our desire, right? If I say I'm not
That's
here
what it
in my
said.
if I say I'm not here in my guidance,
Yeah.
you could say, what's your desire?
Right.
That is your guidance.
That is
that
your
right?
guidance.
Okay.
Yeah, and there are the two desires, which we've said, you know, it's either love or fear.
Yeah.
You know, that's the only two desires we have. Either we have desires to join or we have desires to separate. We have desires to love or we have desire to fear. Now, the form that we do it in can be a gazillion different forms, but your desire is either for love or for fear. And the thing you ask for is the thing that you believe is going to bring you the experience that you're hoping for. So, you know, if I say I want to be close and I want to feel really close to somebody, I'll say I want a girlfriend, but the girlfriend is supposed to bring me the experience of intimacy. But what I really wanted was intimacy. And whatever I asked for is what I think is going to bring it to me. That's called I'm attracted to you. Why am I attracted to you? Because whatever it is I think I want, it looks like you might be the means for me to have it. But what I need to do is ask myself, how can I go directly to what I want without necessarily having to have you to have it? Because you might not want to go along with the program. So that's going to slow me down. Right? You know, I want to give love. I want love. I want it from you. You don't want to give it to me.
Yeah.
Now I don't have it because I think you got to be the one that gives it to me. And then I'm overlooking. She can't wait. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even looking that way because I'm trying to get it from you.
Yeah.
The content will always get to you through the form that will allow it. The content will always get to you. The content will actually create the form that allows you to have it. If I say I want really love, I desire love, that desire for love will create the people, places, and circumstances that I can experience it through in the way I can receive it. Now that's important. In the way you can receive it. Because it wouldn't mean nothing to you otherwise. Right? You know, if it came to you in a way that had no value to you, you wouldn't even notice it. So love is smart enough to come to you in the form that will make you want to extend more love. Which is great. I mean, when I started letting go of the form of what I thought I had to have, that's when all of it started to show up faster because the universe knew who could give it to me right now, and I was trying to get it through who I thought I wanted to have it through. So I was slowing down the process by choosing myself. That's so deep. That's so deep. That's deep. I decided you're going to be my friend, and then you can't stand me. And so I'm going to do everything I can to get friendship through you instead of asking for the content of friendship. I want the content of friendship. Oh, then maybe this brother over here is going, hey, man, I love you. I'm ready to be your friend right now. See? And he will too one day because as he works on his spiritual path and as he grows and begins to recognize he is me and I am him and we are both God and we're both divine and we're both one, he's going to love me too. And I'm going to love him too and you and you and you and you and you and you and you. Because you're going to wake up and I'm going to wake up. And when we wake up, we're going to know we're one. But while we're asleep, we think we're separate and we become afraid of each other and we judge each other and we won't be close to each other and we don't communicate to each other and we attack each other. Broken into by periods in which we go to the movie, take a walk, go to Hawaii. That's all that's happening. It's just a bunch of meanings being given by everybody and they acting from them and think theirs is the one that's true. And they crucifying everybody that thinks differently. That's it. That's the game. The Course calls it the separation game. That we need to just look at it like we playing a game. If we saw it as a game, we'd have a lot more fun with it. First, we played the game that we were separate and that we were not these unlimited beings that create their reality. We are playing the game that we're bodies, and men and women bodies, and different colored bodies, in different kind of situations, so that we can go through this experience of what would it be like to forget my power totally. Oh, I'll be human. That'll be fun. Let me just forget I'm God for a while. And see what happens. Hell, that's what happened. I won't remember. I see what happened. This is the world that happened when we forgot. I think I want to remember now. And some people still want to forget. And that's okay. That's what's so cool. They can have the separation and fear as long as they want it. Nothing's going to try to take it away from them. That's beautiful. You mean if I'm ready to be happy, the universe will allow me to be happy right now, even if everybody else around me still don't want to? Yes, that's the way it works. Because they're going to make the same decision that they already have. And you need to free them enough to be as miserable as they think they need to be. That's their right. So a conscious being is not trying to rescue you out of unhappiness that you are yourself are deciding to keep through continuing to make the same decisions you've been making all the time, even though you've been given alternatives to use. So if you're one of those people, nothing's going to try to rescue you, because the universe knows you want to stay that way. So it's going to free you enough to be that way. So you be one of these people that wants to be happy, but don't think it never happen. And I'm broke. And I think I got the measles. Now it's the measles. First it was Ebola, now it's the measles.
Yeah.
You know, it's one. If it ain't, have you noticed it's not one thing?
Yeah.
It's another. All the friggin' time. Here's the latest terror. Here's the latest fear. Here's the latest thing for you all to be afraid of. And then you condense it into one package and call it the evening news.
Yeah.
And then on commercials, all they sell is medicine. Because you get sick after you see all that stuff. You need some pills. You know what I'm saying? But some of us are rebels. Some of us go, I am not going to buy into this. I am not going to do it. I am going to go another way. Everybody I know can go to a way of the world, but I'm going to do it different. And I've always been one of those people, and I would suspect that many people in here have been one of those people who it just didn't make sense to them. But it looked like it was making sense to everybody else. And you'd be going like, this is crazy. Why isn't anybody saying this is crazy?
Yeah.
Not only not telling you it's crazy, they trying to get you to do it. Now some of y'all get me. Some of y'all get me. So when some people read the kind of metaphysical, spiritual stuff that we're studying, to them it's alien as it can be.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like trying to read Egyptian. They're like, what in the hell is he talking about? What is he? This is the craziest. I don't even understand. It sounds like English, but I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What is he saying? And then there's some people that are listening to what I'm saying and they're going, God, I already knew that. Oh, right, I forgot about that. Oh, this is like he's saying what I already knew, but I forgot about. Some people are remembering and some people are analyzing. And it's both cool. Because sometimes you have to be introduced to something for the first time. Right? Yeah. But some of us, this is not new. We're remembering what we already know, and we want to put it back into action again. And that's the beauty of a class like this, is we get a chance to do it together, which makes it happen faster. Right? So let's go on further. Because because I want to do forward and talking. Yeah.
Let me say something.
Yeah.
Thank you for answering my question so completely and beautifully. And the reason I asked it is because I believe, nobody else has to believe, that humans been making up this shit about sin since the beginning of time to control other human beings. And if I buy into that, I'm going to feel like a real chump.
Well, you're going to only buy into it if you believe it about yourself.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? If I come to church and I believe I'm guilty and bad and no good and a sinner, okay, and you tell me I am, and I believe that about myself, I'm going to think you're telling me the truth. And I'm a tithe.
And you're gonna what?
Tithe. That's my southern accent. I'm a tithe. If I don't believe that I'm guilty and sinful, but I do make errors, I don't do everything perfectly because I'm learning. So don't get me wrong when I'm not saying we don't make mistakes. I'm saying we're not sinners. I'm saying that we can't violate God's laws. We can't be so bad that we're unredeemable, uncorrectable. Nobody's that special. Nobody's that bad. So rather than me being glad that I could be forgiven for the things that I think I've done, I'm going to focus on Hitler. Right? I'm going to say, well, what about what Hitler did? No, what about what you did? Focus on your forgiveness. Focus on letting go of the blocks and the fears and the not feeling good about yourself that you have. You're using Hitler as an excuse not to change. That's all. You know, I got to find a flaw in that so that I don't change. Because I don't want to let myself off the hook. That's why I don't want to forgive you, Cheryl. Because I don't want to let you off the hook. Which means I don't want to let me off the hook, because whatever I want for you is what the universe is going to think I want for me. Whatever I want for you is what the universe is going to give me. Whatever I want for you is what the universe is going to give me. Oh, I'm a nice person that thinks everybody else should be punished. That's why I'm a nice person that just got mugged. Because what I want for you is coming for me. I want you to be punished, then I wonder why I get knocked upside the head. Well, I wanted it because I wanted it for you. Because anything I want for you is something I want for me, because you are me. We are one. 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 So that means that whatever affects one of us affects all of us.
Yep.
Sooner or later. If it's one, if we one and I pop you in the face, then if we're one and you are me and I'm you, then I've got to also at some point be at the receiving end. Because it's me. So I get a chance to see it as the perpetrator and I get a chance to see it as the victim. Because it's all me. So every time you do anything you give to anybody, you give it to yourself. Period. And you will meet what you are giving.
Yes.
The only thing that keeps you from meeting it is this. In case you're scared now. Okay, the only thing that's why people don't want to believe their thoughts are created, because they think their thoughts are so crappy. The last thing they want is for them to manifest.
Yeah.
If I only have negative thoughts, I don't want to believe my thoughts manifest. If I hate people, I don't want to believe my thoughts manifest. That means I'm going to get a lot of negative things happening to me. So people who are miserable and angry, they don't like the idea that their thoughts create their reality, because they don't want their thoughts to manifest, because they're so unloving. But if all your thoughts were loving and all your desires were wonderful, you would be so glad to hear that your thoughts manifest that you'd be jumping up and down and running around the room. We don't jump up and down because of the thoughts we have. That's why nobody's jumping up and down. Because I know I got some thoughts that's not cool. Right? And so I don't want to hear my thoughts are going to come back to me. I want to think I can smack the hell out of all of y'all and nothing's ever going to happen to me. That's what I want to believe. I want to believe I can go over there and bomb 100 people and they go ahead and bomb me, but nobody's going to experience the result of that, because it's somebody else. It's somebody else. Somebody else is hungry. It's somebody else. They don't have nothing to do with me. It's not connected to me, right? So I did something on this level. Maybe I was mean, maybe I was cruel, maybe I ran over a squirrel. You know that joke, especially in Colorado, you get hung up, you be strung up for any kind of animal infractions. You can kill people, but don't you mess with a dog. Okay. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. The lead story is this: they found a dog mistreated. There were 10 murders last night. Watch the news. The lead story would be they found a dog that had been mistreated. People around here don't play around when it comes to dogs and animals. But you could say, children needed money in the school lunch program, and people be hot. The bombs.
Oh, yeah, really. Not letting the kid eat.
Yeah, don't want to pay for a program that'll feed a child. Will go crazy if they see a dog mistreated. Something wrong with that. You might want to reconsider that. That makes a whole lot of sense. But I live in a world like that, and it's part of my mind because I see it. See, I'm not saying that somebody else doing this crazy stuff, y'all. That's my mind that's doing this crazy stuff, because I'm not just this little dot named Earl. I'm the whole deal. And all these dots are in my one mind. All you dots are in the one mind that we are. Whew. So if you ran over the squirrel on this level and you don't want the karma to come back and get you, then you need to be on another level. That's all you have to do. Just be on another level of vibration. You won't have to meet anything you think you did when you were not aware. If you keep operating at this level, then you are going to experience what you call karma. It's just you giving and receiving to yourself. You follow what I'm saying? If you created it on channel 10 and now you're on channel 15, you're not going to pick up that radio station anymore. So how do you avoid and live in grace and not have to deal with any negative consequences of what you did when you were more unconscious? Just don't be on that level of consciousness now. By interpreting your experience in the new ways that we're learning. That's how you do it. You start looking at things the way these books are telling us to look at it. Like, my desire is innocent. I am innocent. You are me. We make mistakes. The higher power can correct our mistakes. We are one. I will not feel guilty about my desire. I'll ask myself what I truly want. I will do the things I'm being asked to do through my spiritual practice. It will change my vibration, and I won't be dealing with the stuff I did when I was so ignorant and afraid. It's that easy. It's that easy. Yes.
So basically, that's forgiveness in a nutshell.
That's forgiveness in a nutshell. That's forgiveness in a nutshell. It's not, I'm gonna overlook what you did to me, Chris, because I'm on a high level of consciousness than you and I'm so much kinder than you. So even though you just bummed and hurt me, I'm going to overlook it out of the goodness of my heart because I'm on a higher level of consciousness than you, brother. That's the world's form of forgiveness. Mm-hmm.
I love that the Course says that God gave me only one function. There's only one function, and that is forgiveness.
And it's much easier to remember one thing and to do one thing than 100. So I think that's really cool to say my only function.
I love
but
that.
it's important to understand what forgiveness means. It doesn't mean I'm going to overlook what you did to me. It means I'm going to see the situation correctly. I'm going to see the situation correctly. He says forgiveness is correct perception. That forgiveness is seeing correctly. And when you see things correctly, you feel peace. When you're not seeing things correctly, you feel conflict. That's how you can tell. If you're seeing things incorrectly, you're going to feel conflict. If you're seeing things correctly, you're going to feel peace. And you don't truly feel peace about seeing somebody hurt and harmed. So don't let your mind go, well, suppose I feel peace because somebody's suffering. That is not real peace, and you're a little bit of a psycho and you need to work on this. Why would you even come up with that example?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know you got issues right there. Because no conscious being is going to fantasize about hurting someone.
That's right.
That only an unconscious person would even come up with the idea of you could murder somebody and feel peace. There's no such thing as murdering somebody and truly feeling peace, even though it's sort of like when you lose your temper and you go off on somebody and you think you've gotten them straight, and just for a little while you feel pretty good about it, you know, and then later on you feel drained. That little satisfaction you get from attacking somebody back doesn't last at all. Just that's the same way it would be with murder. Like whatever part of you that thought you got some kind of satisfaction out of that would be short-lived, because all of us know the truth, and so all of us know we're only doing it to ourselves. We're just pretending we don't know this. We're just pretending we don't know this. We're just pretending we don't know this. And so somebody come along weird like me and I remind you of the fact that you already know what I'm talking about. You know you're not a victim of the world you see. You know everything that's happened to you is your desire. You know that you could have anything you really wanted if you loved yourself enough. All of us know that. But we wanted to pretend like we didn't, so we could go through the drama and the excitement. You know how you go to the movie and you watch Rambo or something, you know? It's like you're getting off on the drama. This is all this is. It's just a great, big, dramatic movie that we're in, and we've forgotten that we are not the roles we're playing. And so now we think we're the actors. And so we like actors who lost their friggin' mind. It's like I'm in a play and now I think I really am Robin Hood. And I forgot I'm Earl. That's us. Now you really think you are a woman. And I really think I am a black man named Earl, who is a father. And you really think, you know what I'm saying? We got our roles down pat. And my role is to play spiritual teacher. But it's just a role. It's just like all the stuff we do. Oh, I'm a mom. It's just a role. I'm a child. It's just a role you playing. But you're not your role. You're a divine, infinite being. I can't wait to listen back to this because I sure needed to hear it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you were telling a story about the rub in the head and how you...
Oh yeah, when the young lady came and started rubbing my head in the club.
Yeah, and then it kind of stopped, and then you changed your thought, and then it started up again?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so I had an experience just like that.
What happened?
I walked into work and kind of felt like really negative energy, and was kind of approached differently than usual. And so I had to take a minute, and I sat down, and I was like, okay, like, how do I look at this correctly? And I have the book on my phone as well. And so I was like, maybe I just need to raise my frequency. Like, maybe that's the energy. And so I read from the book and just, like, read a few different pages. And, like, literally, it was, like, instantly everything changed. And she was like, hey, love button, your makeup looks so pretty today. How are you? Love you. Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, whoa.
That's
okay.
right. That's right.
Kind of
That's
magic.
right. That's right. It's funny. It's like it always works when you use it, unless you're trying to make it not work so you'll think that it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? It's like if I don't want to believe I create my reality, then what I'm going to do is create a failure. Because then that will convince me that this stuff doesn't work. See, I really been wanting to practice this stuff, and look, I did what Earl said, and instead of getting love, they ran over me. You know what I'm saying? You got to realize that there's a part of you that's going to want to prove every loving thought wrong. So as soon as you hear anything loving, it's going to. If you finally saying, "I'm going to finally start trying to trust in a relationship," you know, don't. That part of your mind that doesn't believe you deserve it is still going to try to make you be attracted to the wrong person, to prove to you that nothing ever changes for you. See, that's what we have to be aware of, is the games we play on ourselves. So that's me playing that game on myself to convince myself that I can have what I want. But it's going to tell me to say it's your fault. You know, growing up in the black body in the South was an incredible experience of seeing yourself receive 24 hours a day, 7 days a week when I grew up, of victim consciousness. I was a total victim of everything outside of me because of the color of my skin. It was denying me every friggin' thing possible, including the right to even go into a restaurant and sit down and eat. So at some point I had to get through spiritual awareness that I was not a victim of the world I see. Just like that I can change my mind and then watch my reality change. So I started to work on learning universal metaphysical laws to transcend what looked like was the disadvantage of growing up black in America. That's why I got into metaphysics. Because I did not want to believe that what was going to happen to me in the world was dependent on people who didn't like my race, or the majority. So I wanted to learn laws that work whether you were black, white, young, old, female, Chinese, Japanese, and these universal laws that we're studying here, they work regardless of your social, economic, racial, cultural, anything. That's what you want. You want to learn what those rules are. The rules that it don't make any difference what the color of my skin is. My thoughts are going to create my reality. So I can have an innocent desire and have it manifest. But if I want to go, I'm a black dude, so therefore I couldn't be successful at what I'm doing, which is ironic because 99% of the people that's ever supported my classes have been in white bodies. So if I was prejudiced, I wouldn't eat. From a look at it standpoint. You know what I'm saying? It's like the people that were supposed to be the people who were my oppressors have been the people who've been the most supportive of my ministry ever since I started in the South. But because I refused to believe that we were separate and that we were different and I was supposed to hate you because of the color of your skin. I wasn't going to buy into it. So I have not suffered from that idea. But all my friends that had that idea, they went through hell. They would meet the cop that would beat their butt because they expected him to do it. I almost ran into a police car one time on the way to a date I was trying to get to. And the police, you know, oh Lord have mercy, you know. And they came up to me and they was officer friendly. Well, you just need to be more careful about the way you're driving. You know, because I didn't see them as my enemy.
Yeah.
I didn't see them as my enemy. So I know this stuff is true. I'm just dealing with the core issues in my own guilt that was given to me by myself when I was a child. Because see, what happens is, when you start to get on the truth path, I'm going to tell you what happens. This is what happens. 1, 2, 3, 15, 20, 30. Okay, my writing is a little bad. Okay, all right. Okay, this is 0, right? You were born, and you grew up, and on each one of these levels, you got beliefs. When you were 3, when you were 15, when you were 20, you got new beliefs. You've been going out. Then you wake up one day, you say, well, something's wrong with this. I need to find out what the truth is. Then you reverse. And you start to go back in instead of out. But you know what happens? Then you pass by your 15-year-old program, and then you pass by your 3-year-old program, and then so then you start to get to, the closer you get to who you really are, that love you really are down here, you have to deal with the earliest beliefs you got when you came in, when you were going up. Is that making any sense to everybody?
Yeah.
So if you're really a serious truth student, you're probably dealing with the deepest, most early beliefs you got when you was a child, which in my case was you were born in sin, Jesus Christ died for your sin, you were going to hell for most everything you liked. That's what I got. So right now I'm dealing with those beliefs. I'm seeing my own sinful beliefs about myself, but I know the truth now, so I'm not supposed to believe it. And that's how it doesn't block me. I just keep going for the love that I am at the bottom. And that's what we're doing right now. So if you start to focus on your spiritual path, you may come across your earliest fears, your earliest grievances, your earliest misperceptions that you got. Yeah, you come back across that feeling you had about what happened to you when you was 10 years old. Because you're going to pass by it on the way back to yourself, down here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so if you're really being successful at your spiritual growth, you're dealing more and more with the earlier beliefs you got when you got here. So if you got here and you had parents telling you you were stupid, then right now you may be dealing with the deepest beliefs you have about yourself along those lines. And you'd be going, oh, but I'm supposed to be positive. This is supposed to be all positive. I'm supposed to be happy. Yeah, you are going to be happy when you get back to here, where you started. An innocent, loving, whole being before you got all the programming that the world gave you. So we're digging. It's like going for oil. You know, we got to go through the bedrock and all that stuff before you get down to the oil. That bedrock might be what your mama told you, what your daddy told you, how somebody seemed to abuse you, or what your racial situation was. So I'm dealing with my deepest core beliefs about myself right now. That's why I seem obsessed and intense in my classes. Because I want to attract obsessed, intense people like some of you are about knowing your joy and going past your blight. Even if it's just 3 of us and they're doing it. You know, I'm not debating whether or not I want to believe this anymore. I want to do it. That's what I want. I want to do it. I want to get past all that crap I learned and get back to this love that I am. And I don't want the results of the stuff I did when I was crazy coming back on me by being on another level of consciousness as I go down. So what does that mean? Well, that means that when you see the part of you that used to judge and criticize and condemn as you go back down, then use what the Course says about it. Oh, that's love or a call for love. See, that's what we're getting all this stuff we're learning, so that when we see our own past, we can see it differently so we won't be trapped by it and keep on going back to who we really are. So it's so beautiful because Spirit is actually giving us the things to say as we meet our old selves so that we won't get stuck. And we won't, and it'll be like being in a submarine where you see in the shark, but you're not swimming around in the water with them. And that's what it'll feel like. It'll feel like you're walking in the world and you're seeing all the stuff and hearing about all the stuff that's happening on the paper and in the TV, but the weirdest things happening, and it happening to you. That's because you're in the submarine of spirit, because you recognize the truth. So there's a barrier, a force field between you and the ego, you and your own fear and anger and past. But if you join with it, if you judge it, if you agree with it, if you defend it, that's like getting out of the submarine and swimming around the ocean with the sharks, and you will get bit. So don't buy into none of that stuff the world taught you about your sinfulness and your guiltiness and that you're bad and that you're not good enough and that you don't deserve to be happy and sex and money and any kind of pleasure is wrong and not okay. Don't do that to yourself, because if you do, you are just attracted to you. And you get a chance to be right about that. You get a chance to say, see, I'm right. Life sucks. No, life is just giving you what you believe. But what's cool is, and I say it again, what's cool is if what you're asking for is not real, it's not loving, it's not nurturing to yourself, it's guaranteed not to last, because only love lasts. So everything you make that's not real will be temporary. So if you're in a relationship and it's not really truly loving the way it should be for you, it ain't gonna last. If you're on a job that you hate, that's not what you deserve to be on, you're gonna get laid off or you're gonna die. You still won't be on that job. It's impossible for us to stay in a state of misery forever. The universe is not set up that way. I don't care how hard you think you need to be.
Yeah.
It's not that. Yeah, yeah, that's good news. And I don't deserve to suffer all the time is good news. So let's go further. Here, I'm telling you, that was deep. I've said some good triggering stuff. Oh, good. I can tell when people hear me. See, when people hear what this outrageous stuff that these books are saying, and you really hear it, it brings up a reaction. Whether it's a reaction of, God, I like that, or a reaction of, what? You can't hear something totally opposite to everything you believe and really hear it and not have a reaction. You just have to be tuned out. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. You can't hear this kind of way out stuff and have no reaction and have heard it. I just don't believe that. I just can't. I just can't. Nobody's ever asleep. It just means you didn't hear it. You know? Nico.
I just remember one thing you said about reactions. What's the book called, Reaction? It's when you react, kind of like, so you're reacting the way you acted before.
Yeah, you reacted the way you acted before. You reacted. It takes a while to break a habit. It takes a while for a habit to fade away. You know what I'm saying? It's like some habits I've had that I used to really enjoy, I'll find myself still trying to do it, but if I be honest with myself, really honest with myself, I don't enjoy it anymore. And I'll still be trying to do it. And I'll be going, wait a minute, I'm not even enjoying this the way I enjoyed it in the past. Why am I even doing it? It's a habit. So now I'm trying to get in the habit of being sane. So I don't even have no control over that. You know, I'm nicer, whether I can't help myself but be loving. Because it's a habit.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a great habit?
Yeah.
That's the kind of, I can't help but believe I'm the creator of my experience. I can't help but believe you are one with me and I'm one with you and we should love each other. That's the habit that I'm working on. But I got to do it the same way I got the habit that wasn't cool. Repetition, 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 repetition. When you think you're stupid, somebody had to tell you you were stupid enough times for you to believe it. They didn't tell you you were stupid one time and you believed it. So this is the way it worked. You're stupid, you're stupid, you're stupid. I'm your father talking to you. You're stupid, you're not enough, you're not enough, you're stupid, you're guilty, you're bad, you're sinful. I hear it over and over again. And then guess what? When my father leaves, what do? I tell myself I'm stupid, I'm bad, I'm stupid. In other words, I keep it going after they leave. And that's what adults do. They just keep the tape going after the people that gave them the tape is gone. But we're not on Mission Impossible, we're on Mission Possible. So our crazy thoughts are going to self-destruct. We're going to succeed at our mission if we choose to take it. It takes guts to be happy. It's not for wimps. Joy is not for wussies. Because they don't have nerve enough to stick to their beliefs enough to be happy from them. They need everybody else's validation and saying that they're okay before they'll do what they know they need to do.
So it seems like when you're on your way down or back.
You're going back to the beginning. Yeah, you're going back to the beginning.
It seems like for me, somehow, it feels like the grace of God that I can wake up to that habit. Like all of a sudden, it's like I'm doing this. Like somehow I woke up to what I thought I was.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And it still happens. Like I get hooked. I call it getting hooked. Pam's children. She calls it chenpa. Like it's like it's whispering in your ear, but you. And I don't want to be. There. I like the word disengage. It's like if I fight with it or say I'm not going to be that way, it's still got a hold of me. You know, I'm trying not to be in my habit.
And the way that you get a habit to leave the fastest is to tolerate it.
Look at it with curiosity.
But I mean, literally, it's to tolerate it, because if you're tolerating it, you're not fighting it, and you're at the same time you're focusing on an alternative way that you want to express yourself. So you're not really giving it any energy. And just like anything else, like a car, if you don't put no gas in it, it stops driving. If you don't put any gas in your fearful, negative thoughts, they fade away. But it's not by fighting them. It's about no longer investing in it. So I don't fight any of them. I don't spend 2 seconds out of a day trying to be positive.
Right.
I don't spend 2 seconds trying to be positive. I've seen more people clobbered out of trying to be positive than anything I've ever seen. Because they go into total denial about what's really going on within themselves, and they pretend that they don't feel what they feel, and then those thoughts they're in denial about manifest in their life, and they wonder where all the stuff that hurts them is coming from, because they think they're nice. And they don't realize, no, you got a lot of unconscious anger and guilt that you haven't dealt with. And that anger and guilt is showing up as the mate you hate, the job you hate, the money you don't have, and the health condition that you're dealing with is only unresolved guilt and fear that you're not looking at because you're trying to be positive. So I'm not saying don't be a person that wants to be an energy that's engaging and helpful. But if you're doing positive just to cover up what's really going on in you, it's not going to help you. It's just going to cause you to be experiencing things that hurt you, and you think you're a victim, and you're just this nice person that all this bad stuff just seems to happen to you, and things don't go right for you. That's all it is. You're out of touch with what's going on in your own mind, and you're pretending that you're nicer than you are. I'm mad, but I'm going to cover it up with, I love you. I love all of y'all. I love everybody. You know, I love some of you. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you act right. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, my love is, you don't want my love. You want God's love through me. You don't want my love. I love you too much to give you mine. Really. Mine is special. My love is special. It's a bargain. You got to act a certain way to get it, okay? And if you don't act a certain way, I'm not going to give it to you. I'm going to change it, all right? So you don't want mine. You don't want mine. You want the divine love. You don't want Earl's love. I don't want yours either. It's too much work. Being in love with people who don't know what love is, they work your butt off. They got a million things for you to do all the time, and they're always upset about something, and they wish you would be a certain way that you're not. They're just too much. They're just too high maintenance. People who don't know how to let people be, they're just high maintenance. So you better really have something really you offering to somebody if you're going to have that kind of demand on them about pleasing you all the time. You better be showing up with something really worthwhile for them other than the way you look, which is in the world, that's all you need, by the way. If you want an unconscious person, just look good. People who don't have any consciousness, they don't ever pay attention to what's going on inside the mind of a person. They're only interested in what their body looks like. That's it. What they got. The conscious being is going, what is that content? Where are you coming from? What do you really want? What's important to you? What do you value? That's what I want to know. Unconscious person. Look at the tits. Look at the butt. Look at the thighs. Look at the hair. Look at the house. Look at the car. Look at the bank account. Look at the position in the factory. Look at it's all external. Unconscious people, blind people are all external people. That's all they care about is what it looks like, what it appears like, what it looks like, what does it have, what can I get, what can I get, what can I get? You know, I'm going to be very unattractive for my own protection. What's the flower that gets picked out there in the field first? The prettiest one. And the rest of the flowers going. I want to be the prettiest one. Pluck. Now you in the vase. Are you happy?
Yeah.
Think about that that's deep. Think about that for a minute. We want to be the most special one. I always tell people, don't put me on the pedestal, because that just allows you to get better aim. Right? Earl, he's got to be the perfect spiritual man at all times. Because the Course says if a person doesn't see themselves as being equal to you, then what they try to do is equalize the situation by bringing you down. That's why you always see the same movie star that's worshipped one year is the one that's absolutely crucified the next one. You watch. And the same thing is true with people that you're in specialness with. You know, the same ones that'll tell you the greatest thing that's ever happened to you till them will be the same ones that'll see you differently later on and then try to crucify you. And you got to not buy into either one of them by knowing who you really are and learning how to forgive. That's where forgiveness comes in. Because I got to be willing to understand that even if you do that, number one, I'm not a victim of you. Number two, I'm deciding how I feel about it. And number three, you're just making a mistake and you're still a part of myself and you're an innocent child of God that needs to learn how to see things differently. See, I got to be on that level of consciousness even if they're trying to crucify me at my request. I got to be willing to meet attack without giving attack back to be free of it forever. Everybody's got to cross that bridge, which is the scariest bridge of all on the spiritual path to me. When you got to let somebody come at you in the way that you used to come at people yourself with attack, and you not attack back.
That's right.
So because that's the only way it's going to stop. or else you doing it, coming back, you doing it, coming back, you doing it, coming back. So it comes back, you got to not do it. Then it has nothing nothing can come back because nothing was given. And that's scary. But what happens, and what I've seen that happens when you sincerely do that, is that's why the love of God and the grace of God comes in, and you'll be okay. I remember meeting this guru one time and saying I was afraid to talk. I was teaching in the South and saying there wasn't no sin and we was all innocent and we was making mistakes. I thought somebody might bump me off. Right. They don't kid around in the South about this sin stuff, man. You know, you don't play around about that. You know, and part of me was feeling some fear about what I was teaching and how outrageous it was compared to what I was learning. You know. And it was an Indian guru guy, and I said, I might get killed. Somebody might kill me. He said, looked at me. He said, so what? I said, what? He said, so what?
Yeah.
You're not a body. You can't die. Who you really is never dies. You've done and discarded more bodies than you can remember. So what? And that's when I realized I didn't believe like I thought I did. And I hadn't gotten in touch with my eternal nature yet because I was still thinking I was a body that could die. That was what was causing me fear, was that I thought I was a body that could die. I had lost sight of my own divine identity. So nobody that knows the truth is afraid of death. Nobody that knows the truth is afraid of death. And nobody that knows the truth gets upset about anybody else's death. Because they know they didn't die. Now that's very upsetting to people who believe in death. Everybody who believe in death right now, you going, you know, because I think I could die. So sometimes you have to say that kind of truth that people freak out about, because sometimes we need to be freaked out. Don't we? Sometimes we need a little shock treatment. That's what the Course in Miracles and the Way of Mastery is. It's like a spiritual shock treatment. It says stuff to you that's so outrageous that you have to have some kind of reaction. You know, everybody I know is going to leave their body one day. Now, I can either spend my whole life trying to figure out how I'm going to deal with that, or I could, and how sad I'm going to be, or I can be focusing in on the truth about who they really are, so that when that inevitable transition happens, I won't lose my mind. And that's what happened when my mother transitioned, and my brother transitioned, and my sister transitioned. Was because of what I've learned in these books, I could handle it. And I handled it better than everybody I knew that didn't believe as I believed. The only people that handle death well I've ever noticed are deeply religious, spiritual people. But even if, they'll be the ones that go, well, they're in a better place. Or they're in heaven. Or, in other words, they're still looking at it in such a way that they're not being utterly destroyed by that person no longer being in the body anymore. So, you can't fight the inevitable, but you can certainly see it in a way that doesn't freak you out. You know what I mean? And that's what these books are teaching us. They're saying, look here, man, if you learn how to think this way, no matter what happens in this world, you'll be able to handle it. And you'll be able to handle it with peace and joy. You'll be able to be a loving presence for everybody around you. Instead of worrying all the time about how you can get money, how would you like to have a perception that would never allow you to even experience lack? That it wouldn't even be a part of your experience. There's a way to look at things that you would never be in a relationship that would cause you pain or fear. There's a way to look at things that you would be happy no matter what you're doing. Would you be willing to work on that instead of trying to control the whole friggin' world and make it be the way you think it should be? And then here's the weird part. The minute I started working on my perception, then all the stuff that I was struggling to create started to show up on its own as if by magic. It was the weirdest thing I ever saw. This book talks about nothing but spiritual awareness, and it resulted in more support at a material level than I've ever experienced in my life because I wasn't focusing on it. But when I was focusing on it, and I had all of my treasure maps and everything else possible that I wanted to manifest stuff on, that's when it wasn't happening. Because I thought that was what was going to make me happy instead of my relationship to God. So God wasn't helping me. Because that would be convincing me that turning away from the spirit is the way to go to get what you want. So why would I help you turn away from me? Why would I give you what you want and you're not even appreciating me, acknowledging me, even acknowledging I exist? If I gave it to you, it would further convince you that you need to look away from me. Just pretend I'm God for a second. Pray to me. But you're not going to give me any credit. And I'm not talking about God as a man. So I'm just using this as an example, not as another thing about God being some man in the sky. I'm just saying, think about it. Think about it. You know what I'm saying? You work hard to give your children something, and then your children say he's the one that's doing it for them. How's that going to inspire you to want to give? But the truth is, Spirit gives anyway. So I'm just using this as an example. If you really want to have everything, tap into that which is everything.
Yeah.
Get the whole candy factory. Stop trying to get the bar of candy. I want the factory. I want it all. The Course in Miracles says, ask for it all. So if you don't ask for it all, you're not asking for it at all. Wow. But he says the reason why people don't ask for it all is they think if they do that, something's not going to be left for somebody else. And anybody that believes that doesn't know how abundance works. There's no way your having everything you want is going to create less for me. It's going to actually convince me I can have everything I want to. And since it's all coming from ideas, then I can have ideas that create abundance for me through God just like you. So ask for it all. Say, I want all the wealth and abundance and love and peace and happiness. That's my right as a child of the universe, as a child of God. You're just asking for what you already have, so how can you not succeed? I don't go after anything based on the fact that it's not there. I go after it based on the fact that it is. It's a lot more fun doing the Easter egg hunt if you think there's some Easter eggs out there. You know what I'm saying? They first they tell you there are eggs in the backyard. Now go search. That's not the way we do it. There are no eggs in the backyard. Now go search. And I'm going to try to put the eggs out there that's not out there. He said that's the way we do it. We go searching as if it's not already there. That we got to make it there. I got to make somebody love me. I got to make students like me. I got to make people come to my class. I got to get really good at marketing. No, the marketing is just a symbolic gesture that I do to show the Holy Spirit I have faith in what I'm doing. It's not that I look at it like it's going to draw the people to my class. God draws the people to my class. That's the only thing that brings people to my class. That's why the same people don't come all the time. God don't send the same people every week. But when I thought it was all about people and it had to grow and it had to be like 200 people, then 1,000 people, then that was the worst time in my life. Because I forgot it wasn't me doing it anyway. It's funny, you know. I had classes with hundreds of people and it don't be 1/4 the generosity that it can be in some classes that is 2 people. If there's no relationship to what you receive in the form of what things look like at all. Well, I would stop teaching years ago. Telling you, y'all, you got everything in front of you that'll give you everything that you want if you're not lazy. And you love yourself enough to feel like you're worth the non-effort. Feeling like you're worth the non-effort. Yeah. It's our inheritance. It's a gift. It's a gift. You can be gifted what you want. Gift. Woo! That's so deep. Well, let me stop before I get burned at the stake. Would you acknowledge yourself for hearing this much Holy Spirit? I heard that some people out there like dog meat, so I better be careful about what I'm saying and what I'm doing out here. But really, if you get a chance, look at this section. Listen back to what came through me tonight, and there's an exercise here about how to do this whole thing. I'm telling you. Don't doubt your healing because the symptoms still continue. Don't doubt your healing because the symptoms still continue. Be with that one. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing with yourself. Thank you for sharing with yourself. Thank you for sharing with yourself. I really want you to experience the love and the joy and the bliss that you deserve to have. I want you to be happy. I want you to know that you're loved every single day. I don't ever want you to be afraid about anything, afraid of being harmed in any way. I want your health and your happiness. I want that for you. I want that for me. I want that for you. Want that for you. Want that for everybody else in the room. Want that for me. Give it so you can have it. Give it so you can have it. Hang out with people you love. Be around people you want to hug. Be around people that when you talk to them, you feel inspired and you feel guided. Because your world is your relationships. And so your relationships are your world. You don't know strangers. You know the people that you know. And if the people that you know don't inspire you, then you might want to change your mind about the value of those relationships. I'm telling you. Usually when people say they're miserable, they're only talking about 2 or 3 people. They're not talking about a lot of people. When somebody says they're unhappy in a relationship, it usually doesn't have anything to do with 10 or 20 people that's giving them a hard time. It's usually always less than 10. All the people that make you miserable is less than 10 people. If you be honest with yourself and really look at it, when you say you're unhappy, it's not a lot of things making you unhappy.
It's actually less than 2.
Exactly. That's my point. When you kind of step back off of it and you listen to your friends and they tell you who's making them unhappy, or they can be one person that they're making themselves completely miserable about all day and every day. Especially when a relationship breaks up. That person will take one person and let that one person make their entire life miserable. Just one. Just one. So that's it. It's just one person between me and me feeling okay about me, and I'm the one that's making me feel that way. That's crazy. But I did it, and I'm still tempted to do it, depending on how special I think they are. But all of a sudden, like you said, you start to wake up, and you go, wow, I'm doing some crazy stuff to myself. I might want to do this differently. So those of you out there watching, if you want to make a financial expression of appreciation, which I totally appreciate, you can go to my website, earlpurdy.com, and also one-on-one sessions called clarity sessions. We can talk about what it is you want to see differently. We can do it even if you're out of town, through Skype or on the telephone. I'm here only to be truly helpful. That's why I'm on the planet, because I'm only helping myself. I'm helping myself, and there's nothing wrong with me helping myself. But I just don't want to be in charge of the process. Then everybody's gonna get screwed up. I am not the healer. I am the channel, and you are too. It's not your responsibility to heal nobody around you. You don't know enough to fix me. You don't know what I need. You don't know what I've been through. You can't fix me. And I can't fix you. But I can sure as hell be a means for God to do it, for love to do it. And in most cases, when you help people the most, you don't even realize you did it. Right. Most of the people that say I've been helpful to them, I have never met. And they'll say stuff and I go, it's like you were talking to me tonight. I don't even know you. So when you're really being helpful, you don't know how many people you blessed that you never knew that you were the difference sometimes in life and death for that person. I had people write me and say I was going to commit suicide, and somehow or another I went on the internet and I was looking for Amazon.com and you popped up, and then I watched what you were saying, and it had such an impact on me that I decided not to kill myself.
Wow.
I've had emails like that. And then my ego sometimes be just like your ego. I walk away and they go, man, you're not really a good teacher. You're not really getting it across. You got to know that's your ego's job. That's what it does. Tell you stuff about you that's not helpful to you. And you get to the point you go, okay, all right, okay, I'm not enough. I'll never be happy. Nobody ever loved me. I'll be alone. Okay, all right. Now, I could choose peace instead of this. So then I go for what would be the truth. But I don't spend time fighting my ego, trying to control my ego, trying to get rid of my ego. No, don't spend another day trying to get rid of your ego. Just spend your time focusing on what's true. That's all you have to do, because you can't do both of them at the same time. That's all you got to do. Substitute the truth for the illusion. That's it. All the time a person puts into focus on what the world teaches that's not making them happy, they could be cracking their book open. I love how you said, oh, let me look at my phone. There's another way to look at it. These smartphones and tablets and computers, we got the truth. We got the truth in our pocket. You telling me we're not serious about changing our mind? We've created technology that allows us to support each other and hear the truth 24 hours a day, no matter where we are. I know most people just want to see sleeping puppets. But there's another level that's available to us. I'm always amazed at what goes viral. You know, like the biggest video on YouTube was the Gangnam Style. And they had this video called Gangnam Style. And it's the most watched video of all times on all the videos on YouTube. There's over, I think they said 3 billion views. And it's a guy basically going.
Oh, right.
See, what I'm doing is too meaningful. That's why it has a small number of people that look.
Right.
The course teaches that we in a world where the meaningless is seen as valuable.
Yeah.
So the more meaningless things are, the more popular it is. And the more meaningful things are, the less people tune into it because it will undo their ego. It's deep, man. It's deep, but it's true. And we're waking up. And it's not always comfortable. Don't always feel good. But you will. You deserve it. So, what do you want? I want a Coursum style. To see what happens. I love y'all. Thanks for coming out, y'all. Give it up, give it up. And if I make you mad sometimes, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. That's okay. Because he said that would happen too. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do I want?
What do I want?
What do I want? What